Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
And this,
You already know what to do if you are on Facebook. Please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our Facebook page, go ahead and hit that like button, and as well, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future.
ding.
Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out on Periscope. Of course, X Williams. Oh, my apologies. Oh, butcher that. At
Mm,
X Talking Ish. And as well
mm,
on my personal page at X underscore Williams 81. See what happens when you talk
Boy,
all
you
fast and get
struggling,
all triggity.
man.
Boy, all right. Let me go ahead and get them mess ups early and out of the way in the beginning of the show, so we won't continue to have these moving forward. Um, but before we get into, of course, these games that we were able to witness over the weekend, and of course last night, Ish got check in with my boy. How you doing today?
Man, chilling, man. Doing
As
this,
y'all can
man.
see, Ish is just always chilling. Ain't nothing going on with Ish over
Yeah,
there. Now,
man.
something going on with you over there. Let the people know.
No, man. No, man. We just chilling, man.
You ain't gonna tell nobody
Watching
about your beautiful
it.
haircut. You got that milk dud over there looking
Yo,
good.
okay, yeah.
That milk
Thank
dud
you.
looking good over there, boy.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
saying,
yeah, thank
boy.
you. See, I'm gonna have to. You gonna make me put my hat back on.
No, keep
Um,
that mug on, boy. I can see my future in your head right now.
no,
You
you
looking
funny,
good.
you funny. Nah, it was to be honest, bro. It was a bad week for me, football wise this weekend, man. My alma mater lost and a tough rivalry game, so
Yeah,
that was a whole bad
we know
situation.
Brett was definitely letting you know.
Yeah, the Chiefs lost. I mean, it was just it was a tough week for
And
me,
you lost
to
fantasy
be
too.
honest. And I lost in fantasy, a close game too.
Yeah.
Uh, it was just rough all around. I can't even lie to you. So I'm definitely looking for a quick bounce back. Then last night didn't help me any. I mean, I'm pretty sure I texted you in the middle of the game, like, bro, y'all got to help my man out, and
Yep.
they just, oh
Your boy
man,
Danny Dimes, and we'll get into that real shortly. We'll go ahead and get the comment section right quick from our boy Fracture Wana. He says, hell of a week for football. A bunch of great games. Yes, for week 3. Even
man,
though headline wise, it might have not looked like some, good looking games, but when the games were played week 3, I think the game surpassed the
yeah, it was good,
expectations for week 3. And of course, Fracture One, I said shout out to the AFC South, just not the
bruh.
Texans. And as well, we will talk about
We're
that
gonna get
very
to them.
shortly
We're
as
gonna get to
well.
them.
But week 4, of course, we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. Of course, with Thursday Night Football starting off, and of course on Sunday we'll talk about the preview of week 4 slate. Should be a great week of sports. But let's go ahead and recap week 3, starting off Monday Night Football, Cowboys Giants. Of course, this is America's team versus another quote unquote America team, New York Giants, playing against one another in the divisional matchup in New Jersey / New York, the MetLife Stadium. Now, prior to that Monday night kickoff, I'll be honest with you, Ish, I was going to pick the Giants. I just felt like the Giants overall better team. Felt like they as a team was rolling with momentum coming into week 3, and I felt as though at home that they could get that win. But after I saw the slate of games on Sunday, I changed my mind. I said, you know what? The Cowboys have impressed me with their defense the last couple of weeks. Their defense, honestly, has been superb, and I felt as though that their defense was going to be the one that's going to lead the charge for this game, and they were able to do that. Michael Parsons, of course, was all over the field like he always is. Most likely at this moment, the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, again, at the moment. And the Cowboys were able to do enough on the offensive side of the ball to be able to win this game. But to be completely honest with you, I feel like the Giants let one go. I mean, not just this game, of course, to add insult to injury, you lose Sterling Shepard as well on a freak accident of a play. I know that very well. That same type of accident, the same type of incident happened to me as well when I was in high school. Ish, you were there. Ran back onto the field. My knee gave out on me. So I completely understand what happened to Sterling Shepard on that one. But it's just unfortunate for a guy like him who's been dealing with unfortunate circumstances with the Giants. They thought this year was going to be his year, and now he's starting it all over again. And most likely, I mean, of course, the Giants are going to have to pay him that new contract that he signed. Of course, he's going to be with the Giants moving forward, but it wouldn't surprise me at all moving forward the Giants find a way to move away from Sterling Shepard.
Man, here we go again. Let me just say this, man. And I already see I see the slander in the comments already. Dooley them popped up out of he rose from the dead to come out here and talk nonsense.
You know he'll be on the show soon. Yeah, he'll be on the show soon.
Let me just say this, man.
Banned from the league. Ooh.
I texted this man X in the middle of the game and I said to him, bro, they gotta help my man Danny Dimes out. He can't do it all by himself. He was the leading rusher for the Giants up until like midway through the third quarter, I believe. And then on top of that, were only 3 for 11 on third downs. You know why? Because Evan Neal can't block a soul. Okay, Evan Neal can't block anyone. We could put a fifth grader out there, and they're probably going to go get there on third down and sack Danny Dimes. All right, Danny Dimes was out there running for his life. 9 attempts for 79 yards. He was only 2 yards behind Saquon Barkley. You can't win games when Danny Dimes is 2 yards behind Saquon Barkley for rushing yards. Like, you're not going to win games. That's a bad formula. Honestly, the Giants had this game. They were doing everything they needed to do.
I agree.
But third downs was the bane of their existence in this game. I mean, third downs came, and it was almost as if they did not know what they were doing out there. It was shell shock. Danny Dimes running around trying to get out of there. Sometimes he didn't even have a second to throw the ball. But as soon as the snap came, there was 2 people back there sacking him. So all this slander against Danny Dimes, obviously you're going to point at Danny Dimes because he's a quarterback. But let's just be honest here. You could put whoever you want to at quarterback for New York right now. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, especially now that Sterling Shepard's hurt. Saquon Barkley going back to the old Saquon Barkley. Who knows? Maybe next week he's going to get hurt, and then it's going to be back to last year. So they need to figure it out in New York because they need to give Danny Dimes a chance to throw the ball.
Now, I'm happy you bring that up because I want to ask you this question. I want to ask people that's listening in right now the question as well. And please answer it in the comment section because I want to hear what y'all have to say. We do know Brian Daboll is a new head coach there, so obviously he didn't draft Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes is not. Let's be real. It's not his guy. As in, as in the head coach worked with management to draft whoever quarterback for that system. It looks like we're on the same page regarding what happens with Danny Dimes, but more than likely, it seems as though, and I think we're on the same page as this. No matter what happens with Danny Dimes this season, it seems as though that they're going to move on from Danny Dimes, and either due to coaching last couple of seasons, either due to injured players, due to whatever it is, we can both maybe agree and say that Danny Dimes unfortunately didn't get a fair chance to be successful for the Giants. But guess what? Danny Dimes is not the only quarterback in the league or in the history of the NFL who has been put in this type of situation.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Unfortunate.
I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm just saying it's unfortunate. No. You got to listen to this. No, it's unfortunate, but it happens. RG3 was talking about this earlier this morning, talking about he played 8 seasons, have to learn 6 different playbooks and 6 offensive coordinators.
Listen,
it
RG3
happens,
did that
and it's unfortunate.
Okay? RG3 did that to himself. Danny
You're
Dimes
not wrong on that. You're not wrong on that.
Asked to change the play calling and all that, all right? Like, Danny Dimes just got unlucky that everybody around him kept getting hurt, and he had to be the running back, quarterback, wide receiver for the New York Giants.
I understand that. Let me get to this comment right quick from Lee, and I'll also read the rest of the comments in a second. He said, I saw so many damn drops. Sterling had multiple. Galladay had multiple.
Galladay, man, can we talk about Galladay?
We'll talk about him shortly. And Richie James both had one. It was rough. Now, another wide receiver that Lee is not bringing up because he wasn't playing, that's Mr. Tony. My thing is with the Giants is whatever happened with that damn yacht cruise or boat trip, whatever they had with Odell and Sterling Shepard and all them boys that was on that boat. It reminds me of the Vikings. Remember the Vikings back in the day where they had that they got in trouble for that yacht trip with the women on board and whatnot. And ever since then, the Vikings was just like were a team that nobody really talked about until past a couple years now. That's what I'm looking at with the Giants right now. The Giants record, and I don't have it right now. I'm pretty sure Lee might bring it out for us, but the Giants record since that picture is well below 500. And I think Brian Daboll is the right coach to move forward with this team, but they might have to clear house. Like they might have to start
the guy, but yeah, they're gonna have to. It's a complete rebuild. I mean, they've got some pieces there, but they just unfortunately can't stay healthy. To me, they're in a similar situation to Baltimore, but just worse, right? Like Baltimore, we know what they're capable of when they're healthy, and now we see that in action. But with New York, it just feels like they're never healthy. Like they just can't have all of their pieces on the field at the same time. And it looks like that defense is moving in the right direction. In the offense with Brian Daboll, I'm excited about what could be, but I just don't think they're ever going to have the weapons on the field so that we can see what it might actually, like what the potential could be. So I think Danny's gone. I think they're going to have to figure that out. But on the side note, Cooper Rush now 3-0 with the Dallas Cowboys, and
who would have thought that?
Here we go again with these Cowboys fans.
Come the quarterback controversy from Mr. Jerry Jones.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, sure. Jerry's out here igniting quarterback controversy because he can't get out his own way.
Man, one thing I will say about Jerry Jones, though, you got to respect him as a marketer and as a businessman, because he about to sell jerseys. The Cowboys name going to be, of course, continue to be in news rotation. It's the reason why they are the most valuable franchise in the NFL. They haven't won since the 90s, but when it comes to winning headlines, that's one thing the Cowboys are going to do. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
All right, let me get the comments right quick. Lee says Tony and Wendell, they got their 2 20-year-old weapons that can't stay healthy. Everyone gets hurt, including their opponent. It's rough. And Lee also said, didn't they say like 6 for 31 or 41? The point is, that's not good. Whatever, if it was 6 for 31 or 6 for 41, that's not good.
Either way, don't matter. It's bad.
Not at all. Fracture One also says Denny Dimes to Houston, please. I'd rather him than bum ass Mills.
Anyone except Mills at this point.
Woo. All right, let me get back to the previous comments. Christine Robichaud says worst game of the week. Lee says Denver 49ers game was way worse. And then also Christine agrees. Oh, yeah, because obviously everybody forgot about the punch show. Fracture Wanda also says, I will say this. For everybody that loves talking about going back in the day, and I miss back in the day and this, that, and the third, that was your football entertainment back in the day. So everybody that loves back in the day stuff, go watch some 12-10 football and enjoy that, because that's what football was back in the day. So
no, that was disgusting. That wasn't back in the day football. That was
1940. That's 1942 right there, baby.
That was the leather helmet.
Captain America was playing on the field. That was Roger Staubach was on that field, boy.
Man, you crazy.
Fracture One also says Parsons' second coming of LT. Dude is nasty. Now, can he play like 4 years first? Can he play like about 4 years?
Can we give him a little bit more time?
He got to play about 4 years. He got to get a bump. He got to get a bump.
I mean, he is doing his thing, though.
He can do any of that before we can even compare. Now, I respect everybody wants to compare everybody. I got that. I'm not a hater. I'm just, can guys play like minimum?
You're a hater, but I mean, you spitting some facts right now, but you are a hater. Let's get that straight.
You just mad because nobody likes Danny Dimes. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Randy Daniels also says, nice catch, both of y'all on Miami. Appreciate that as well. Also, we ended on this. Well, no, we're not ending on that one. That's pretty much it for this game. Again, when it comes to
I'm not big on the Cowboys yet.
I honestly don't know where these two teams are going to be going by the time week 8, week 9 comes. Because when Dak gets back, I know this is a weird question to ask, but are they going to be better or worse with Dak? Because for whatever reason, it seems as though the offense has some type of spark or juice or energy with Rush there. I don't know what it is. We'll see what happens, but it's interesting to watch.
I think it's no ego. right? So
I
like
can
the
see.
play
I can understand
calling,
that too.
I think the play calling becomes easier because you're not worried about like a superstar quarterback or anything. Like there's just no ego really. You can get Zeke and Pollard as many touches as you want to get them. I mean, we'll see as the season goes along.
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on them yet. I need to see a couple more games.
We know how.
before
Look,
I
we know
really
how it
feel
is.
it out.
Anybody that comes into a game that doesn't have game film on them, that's just out there playing, the first couple of games, you might surprise an opponent or two because they really don't have anything on you. But once people have film on you and they see your tendencies, they see what you like to do, what you don't like to do, they will exploit it. It's the NFL. That's just what it is about. All right, let's go ahead and move on to. Let's just be real-ish. We go from one of the worst games of the weekend to probably the best game of the weekend. Let's go ahead and talk about the most talked about game of the weekend, the Bills versus Dolphins. We talked about this on the show when it comes to this is the Dolphins game. The Dolphins have to find a way to win this game. They have lost not 5 straight. We talked about this on the show. They actually have lost 7 straight-ish against the Bills before this game. And the thing about this game, though, is I'm happy that the Dolphins got this win. But to only win by 2 points at home when you have multiple starters out on the Bills
No, that doesn't matter. No, don't do that.
I'm not. Look. This is what I'm saying though, is not taking away the credit from the win at all. But I'm worried towards the end of the season because the Dolphins played this game at home. When the Dolphins go up to Buffalo and play them, when again, I gotta go look at the schedule. If you don't mind pulling the schedule for me, I appreciate that. But if they play in November or December, most likely it will be snow there. And that game, I'm not saying it could determine division, but
week 15.
Okay, so most likely it will be a little cold and it will be a little snowy there. So the Dolphins had their home field advantage to be able to be taken care of for the Bills because you heard nothing but Bills players falling out because it was hot and this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. Again, the Dolphins were able to win their game. They took care of home field and they took care of winning the divisional game at home. Cool. But when the Dolphins go to Buffalo week 15, that's an interesting matchup to see as well, too, to see if the Dolphins are able to play in that weather. As well, what happens if they meet up again in the playoffs? What happens if Buffalo has home field or Miami has home field? That's going to be interesting to see as well if they play again against each other in the playoffs. But again, for this game, shout out to the Dolphins for everything that they were able to do on both sides of the ball. But I'm worried that if the Bills are full strength, are they still better than the Miami Dolphins? That's my question.
All right, bro. Okay, first and foremost, they won, right? And as you pointed out, they were 0-7 in the last 7 games before this. So just being able to get over the hump, being able to win that game, and to win the game in the manner in which you win a game, it was a close game, it was a hard-fought game, and you still won. Like that says something about the mentality and the culture of this team, right? Like we've been talking about for a long time how this team they should have made the playoffs the last 2 years, how this team they've been so close, they're moving in the right direction. A win like this is the kind of win that propels you past we almost there, we're building the culture to we're here, like this is our time, we know what we can do. Like I don't care if they won by 1 point. The fact that they were able to pull off this win is big for just the mentality and moving forward, playing against the Bills and competing in this division. Now, I like what Fracture Walnut brought up right here because I wanted to get to this.
You talking about this comment or the next one?
This comment that he brought up right here that you have on the screen, because that last drive from Buffalo, I've been seeing the video circulating to the offensive coordinator and everybody talking about, they got their deferring opinions or whatever. Hey, I probably would have lost it too, okay? Because let's just talk about the sequence that we had on that last drive, because when you really get down to the nitty-gritty, you got 18 seconds left, 2nd and 10. You throw an incompletion to Gabriel Davis, and then you run one more play, and you complete it to Isaiah McKenzie for 12 yards, but you stay in bounds with no timeouts and don't get the opportunity to spike the ball and even attempt the field goal. to me, it just doesn't make sense. One, the throw, I question the throw, especially knowing the situation that we're in. Why are we throwing to the middle of the field like that? And then forcing him to try to run all the way to the sideline and get out when, I mean, that's going to be a task in and of itself. And then even as they're trying to get lined up and everything, it was a catastrophe. It was almost as bad as my man in Denver, but it wasn't that bad. I think that had Buffalo had a chance to kick a field goal, we might be talking about a little bit different game here.
But when I bring this up, you over here like, no, they won though.
No, I mean, I'm saying they won. They won, right? From a Miami standpoint, they won. From a Buffalo standpoint, you're looking at it like, well, we kind of gave the game away at the end, right?
I got you.
So I think both teams come out of this with a positive spin on it, right? Because I think Buffalo, like you said, they had injuries. Buffalo are going to feel like they should have, found a way to get out so that they could kick a field goal, send it to overtime. I don't think Buffalo thinks anything about Miami. I think they still think they own Miami. And I think Miami, they're looking at it like, yo, okay, we showed everybody that we're here. And I want to see how this progresses throughout the season because if you think about it, Miami still got a tough road to go.
Oh yeah.
So
but let me get to this comment right quick as well. We'll just piggyback off of what you're talking about, and I like this comment because it definitely does remind me of what Fracture was talking about last season. He says this reminds me of last year when the Pats beat the Bills early in the season when they pretty much ran the ball all game and threw the ball in 3 times, and then the Bills came back and busted that ass. And we all know, of course, the Bills obviously went to the playoffs and lost to the Chiefs. But, again, we saw what really happened amongst that Chiefs team. We saw who was the better team. I'm sorry, the Bills team. We saw, obviously, it was the Bills that were a better team overall. Fracture One also says
better than the Patriots are better than the Chiefs.
The Patriots, my fault. The Patriots. The Patriots, they were better than the Patriots. Relax, okay? Y'all need to figure out how not to lose to the Colts. But, again, we'll get to that very soon.
I knew that was coming. Just wait.
I bet it was. I bet it was.
Y'all one game in the season now.
We'll get to that real soon. Don't worry. Anyways, Lee also says, I get the Bills have 5 to 6 defensive starters out, but for them to hold that Bills offense to 19 is major. Yeah, they were missing one player, Gabe Davis, but they locked up. Also, Lee says Allen had a great stretch in the playoffs last year. The whole world has Herbert and Allen on this God-like pedestal when they constantly crack under pressure and the super prone to big mistakes. Mahomes would be getting blasts. Why don't these two? Lee, you got to talk to ESPN on that one, my boy. We don't control what ESPN and Fox figure out. That's not my stuff. I'm not the media. I'm just saying. I understand what Lee's talking about, but Lee, let's not act like Patrick Mahomes don't get put on the pedestal too. Let's relax, Chiefs, everybody. Like all my Chiefs fans on here, please.
I think he gets more slander than the other young quarterbacks around the league.
You think Patty?
Yeah, he gets more slander than and that's exactly what Lee's pointing out. He gets more slander than Herbert and Allen. Everybody always say positive things about Herbert and Allen. I don't hear the negative things, but as soon as like they lost the game against the Colts, everybody acting as if like, oh my gosh, what's going on in Kansas City?
I think more people were worried and surprised about the whole back and forth with Patty and Eric Bieniemy more than
that's been well documented during the offseason. That's part of the reason why people were thinking that Bieniemy wasn't coming back. So we can talk about that if people want to talk about it.
We'll get to that game shortly. Let's talk about. Let's stay in the AFC South right quick. Let's talk about these Houston Texans right quick. So close to pulling up. I feel so pulling a nice little upset in Chicago, and we're there. Just but didn't have an opportunity to finish off the game. I will say this though.
What are you gonna say? Don't say anything dumb here.
What did I do? You let me
because you say you will say this. What are you going to say? There's no defending these Texans.
That's why
they're going to go back to being the.
That's why I'm not going to defend them. I'm about to talk about the Bears. If you let me finish.
No, the Bears are terrible too.
What I was going to say is for the Bears to be 2-1 after 3 games, which a lot of people assume that they would probably be 0-3. For real though, shout out to the Bears and shout out to
Houston. We had them losing to Houston.
People definitely had them losing to 49ers week 1.
Oh, yeah, they should have been losing.
Okay, so, again, before the season started ish.
But
I'm
Jimmy
saying
G
before the
wasn't
season
starting that
started,
game, so
people probably would say, "Oh, the Bears probably gonna be 0-3. The Texans game is a toss up. It could go 0-3, 1-2, whatever." But for them to be after 3 weeks, for them to be 2-1, you have to give more kudos to Justin Fields. Coach Eberflus, we'll see what happens with him. I don't know if I'm sold on him or not, but Justin Fields, for him to wield this offense and also
no.
Can I finish, sir? Can I finish?
It's
the leadership.
It's the leadership
that I see. It's the leadership that I see with Justin Fields and what he's able to do regarding, as in pulling everybody together. Say, look, it's us versus everybody. It's us versus everybody. Fuck what everybody talking about. Let's go out there and go put on a show for the NFL. And
put on a show.
Hey, you can make a joke all you want to. Yes, they've only completed 26 passes in 3 games. I know what you about to bring up, but guess what? A win is a win. Like you said, the Dolphins are building. A win is a win. Don't matter how you get it. Don't matter if it's ugly. Don't matter if it's about 40 points. A win is a win in the NFL. It's hard as hell to get those. And for you to be 2-1 after 3 games, shout out to the Bears. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not shouting out that garbage, okay? I'm not shouting out that nonsense, okay? They are last. Their offense is dead last in the league. I don't care if you're 2-1. They're dead last in the league in total yards. Bruh, they are dead last.
The Chiefs got beat by a team that was dead last in points, though.
They're dead last in the league in first downs. They're dead last in the league on passing attempts. Dead last in the league on passing yards. Dude, I'm not giving Justin Fields any credit right now because the fact that you were 2-1, like, yes, you're playing in the NFL. Yes, congratulations. You have won these 2 games. But let's be honest. You won a game against San Francisco that was a sloppy, ugly, messy game, and Trey Lance started that game. So, you won it, but there's an asterisk there. Then you got decimated by the Green Bay Packers and embarrassed. Then you brought yourself, you talking about leadership. Then this man came out and said, well, we're working. I don't know any fans that are out here working. Like, oh, thank you, Justin, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, for getting out there on the stage and telling us that fans aren't working like y'all are working. Because, obviously, we know that the fans are out there practicing.
First of all, that's what he needs to do. Let these fans out here that delusional in the head, thinking they can get their fat asses up from their chair and go throw the football or whatnot. Nah, call them out. I respect your stuff. No, call them out. Shut your fat ass up, thinking you can do what an NFL player do and slang that thing. No, you can't. Shut your ass up. So, yeah, you got a problem with Justin Fields. You got a problem with me. You won't ever see me defend Ohio State quarterbacks, but I'm doing it right now. What's up, man?
Dude, this Bear situation is terrible. Okay, the Bear situation is terrible. It's ugly to watch. I was excited going into the season to see the transition of Justin Fields and what he was able to do, with a new coach and someone who actually could help him. But it looks bad. Okay, the fact that they're not even trying to throw the ball. If you watch this game, at times you had to think to yourself like, am I watching like a triple option or something? Because they like refuse to throw the ball. Period. They're not even trying to call pass plays at this point.
They're running a lot. They're running the ball a lot.
It's so bad. It's
like the Ravens, but no passing. You're right.
Yeah, it's the Ravens, but no passing at all. So I don't know what needs to happen in Chicago. But let me just say this: they're on the road at New York. On the road at Minnesota. They got the Commanders, the Patriots on the road, and then Cowboys on the road. Like, this is
they're beating the Patriots on the road. They're beating the Patriots on the road.
They're gonna beat the Patriots on the road. Me?
This ain't the same Patriots. Y'all gotta stop acting like the Patriots are Tom Brady, still led by Tom Brady still. Okay? It's not the old school Patriots anymore. The Patriots are gonna have a rude awakening in the next couple of years when it comes to how bad they are. Am I wrong? So again, the Bears can find a way to win games that they're not supposed to due to the way that they hold on to the ball, the way that they run the ball, and the way that they are able to play some decent defense. Again, I'm not saying that they're going to go out and win the division. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs or anything like that. But why they can't win 6-7 games? Why they can't win some games that they're not supposed to win? We've seen it in the past 3 weeks in the NFL when it comes to any given Sunday. Every week there is a team that's like, what the hell? How the hell this team beat this team? It
No,
happens.
I think they will definitely scratch out. They'll be able to scrap out some games because they play good, hard, old school Bears football, right?
Yeah.
But at some point you got to start throwing the ball. Like my criticism is you can't call plays the way you're calling plays right now and expect to be in some of these games. They're gonna have to start calling pass plays. Justin Fields, they got to figure that out. I don't care if he's throwing to the tight ends. I don't care if he's throwing bubble screens or tunnel screens, but they got to throw something.
As you can see with the comment, Mr. Trent Thompson says, "Who is Justin going to throw to?" I hope I said
He's
that
throwing
correctly.
to absolutely no one because they don't have the weapons. Okay, I
Uh,
understand that. I know he has no one to throw to. But
First of all, what
they
you're
got to figure
not
something
going to
out.
do, you're not going to disrespect Mr. St. Brown. Okay, you're not going to disrespect the little brother of
Equanimous St.
You're
Brown.
not
What
going to
has
disrespect him. Okay.
Equanimous done,
Hey,
bro?
I'm not going to lie. When you look at both brothers, you can tell who's obviously the better brother, and the one is in Detroit.
Yeah, Equanimous hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm just busting balls. But yeah, Darnell Mooney. I mean, that's again the only other receiver that, again, basically have a little juice on his team. But other than that, it's gonna be a long season for the Bears.
Long season.
Hunker down, but 6 wins. That's the goal. 6 wins.
Yeah, I could possibly see 6 wins.
Fracture One also says Bill ain't Bill no more. Sorry, not sorry. No, Bill don't have a team.
I mean, the Patriots were able to grind it out against dark horse
the
AFC
Steelers, yes, sir.
So,
again, so you're bringing up exactly what I'm saying is that any given Sunday, something.
No, I don't know about them beating the Patriots. I'm sorry.
Okay. Look, tell you right now, mark it down, book it. X Williams calling the Bears beating the Patriots at home, week 7 ish.
I'll have to go double check when that is.
Whenever you find that out, let me know because we're booking it right now. Easy money, y'all welcome.
Yeah, that's week 7.
There you go. So, like I said, book it. Let's go ahead and move on to another team in the AFC South. The very disappointed Tennessee Titans hosted the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders. I have to go ahead and group them all in there.
The only 0-3 team. Where's Dooley now? Dooley, don't run.
No, he disappeared. He disappeared.
Don't run.
He ain't on here.
Dooley better come back. Dooley, I hope you comment.
Dooley is not a Dooley is a whatever California
Commanders
team.
Yeah, whatever California team doing well.
And then if they're not doing well, I'm happy to do my Commanders. That's what Dooley like to do. He don't stay with one team. He ride whatever
Dooley
team.
Just hop on whatever California team.
Exactly.
He a Rams fan right now because they won the Super Bowl.
Real talk. Don't let the Rams lose and 49ers start winning. Bay Area. Don't worry, we'll have Dooley back on soon. But let's go ahead and talk about this game very, very shortly. There's nothing really to talk about regarding the Titans almost lost this goddamn game. I was watching this game, and of course, Derek Carr leads the team down the field to score touchdown to put the team within 2 of tying the game. The Raiders, of course, go for a 2-point conversion, do not get it, and obviously the Titans win the game 24-22. But with that being said, the Titans are who I expected them to be after you give away A.J. Brown, okay? And I know Ish probably gonna roll his eye because he's over here like, oh, here go A.J. Brown. Look, I'm just dead ass serious. There are no explosive players on the offense. Even I'm a Derrick Henry guy, but Derrick Henry is not what he once was, and it has no knock to him. He's gonna still run for 1,000 yards, but when it comes to the explosive plays, he has to run downhill to gain that momentum to be explosive. He is not a running back that is going to get the ball and bam, just going to explode out of that hole. And what I'm seeing, what a lot of defenses are now doing, which they should have done years ago, is meet him at the hole, stop him before he gets momentum. And when they are able to do that, you're able to neutralize the running game. Tannehill's not that guy. Tannehill's not that guy that's going to be able to put a team on the back and be able to go out there and lead a team to victory. And got the win, of course, here against the Raiders. The Raiders are going to have to do a lot of soul searching moving forward. I think they are okay. They're not winning the division, probably not making the playoffs, but I think they are okay when it comes to having the right guy, Derek Carr, to help lead them through this BS. They did it last season. Did it last season with a lot more BS going on.
The only 0-3 team in the league.
Yes, again, not making the playoffs, not winning the division. I'm just saying
that
they have an opportunity to at least have a winning record. That's all.
So let me ask you a question about them, okay? When it comes to the Raiders, and you look at the additions that they made, right?
It's disappointing. Chandler
You look at
Jones,
Devontae Adams.
I mean,
only 189 yards through 3 games, 3 touchdowns.
2 tuggies though. Oh, 3. I think he said 2.
3 touchdowns, but only 189 yards. Are you concerned as a Raiders fan based on that stat line for Devontae Adams?
Well, don't forget this is also Dooley's other team, the Raiders, as well. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know because, like I told you all the time, and I will stay consistent with this every year. The first 4 games of the season, to me, it's just a faster version of preseason.
Yes, preseason.
Everybody is still getting their wind up under them, still trying to figure out the playbook, figure out what plays work, figure out. I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, you got to think about it. Some of these starters didn't play at all throughout the preseason, right? So, like, they're still ramping up. They're getting together.
We talk about this all the time. We play football from high school all the way to the highest level, and a lot of people take preseason and scrimmage games for granted, and nobody want to do it. We want to go out and just go play, week 1. You have to get some type of one-on-one action. If not just with you guys, but against somebody else that is also good. Those duo practices, those team practices that they have in the middle of a preseason, they're cool and all. But the only thing we hear out of most of them are fights that break out.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of practices where both teams get better because they actually put in the work and both teams got better that day. But most of the time during preseason, there are mainly 2 teams that are just vicious and ready to hit somebody. And because you're not on my team, I want to find a way that I can do something and not get in trouble for it. I'm not saying Aaron Donald, but we obviously those rules are probably going to change next season.
That's exactly what you're saying, Aaron Donald.
When it comes to
we out here swinging helmets,
we out here swinging stuff. I'm not going to get reprimanded for it. So it's interesting how this game played out, and interesting for the Raiders moving forward. I think they're fine. Let's check in week 9 and see what happens. But 0-3.
I mean, they got a quick turnaround here because they got the Broncos, so division rival this week, and I mean that's gonna be a good game because you got the Broncos at home, and then you go on the road to Kansas City before your bye week. I think
we know how the Raiders play Kansas City. I'm not saying they're going to beat. They're not going to beat the Kansas. They're not going to beat the Chiefs, but we do know how they like to play against them. They know who they are. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's Devontae Adams' breakout game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised they win that game. I would not be surprised they go on the road and beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
And that's just how the NFL is this season. It's just you don't know. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the
Speaking of Kansas City,
AFC South team that actually showed up this weekend. The Indianapolis Colts finally get their first win of the season, beating the Chiefs at home. I wasn't able to really watch this game. Of course, I watched highlights throughout the game. I watched the score on the ticker, and I was definitely looking like, why are the Colts beating the Chiefs at one point in time? And I was waiting for the Chiefs to break out, waiting for the Chiefs to get those 2 touchdowns in and start breaking away, but just never happened. I'll let you, of course, take it from here.
No, I just think it was one of those games where the Chiefs just kind of they have these games where I think it happened last year, and we saw it last year early in the season, where it's like they just don't flip the switch. Like it doesn't seem like there's any urgency in the play calling. They're kind of feeling things out. It feels sometimes like Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are trying to be a little too cute at times, and they're not actually just trying to go out there. And I'll say this about the Chiefs. I don't feel like the past 2 years, maybe, I don't see that mentality of let's go out and just put it on people, right? Like at times it feels like the Chiefs are trying to prove this point of like, yeah, we got this great quarterback. We got this great offensive mind of Andy Reid. We can call all these gadget plays. We can get the ball to different people in all these different ways. But it doesn't feel like at times that they go out with this mentality of like, let's
put our foot on the neck and
okay.
Finish them.
And that's where, for me, I think we've kind of seen the shift when they've played some of these teams like the Chargers or the Bills, where these teams, they don't have that mystique or that fear of Patrick Mahomes anymore. And also they know, hey, we can put points up with you too. So if you want to make it a gunslinger showdown, don't worry, we're here for it all day. And I think they need to just go back to let's go and see how many points can we put up. Let's not go out here and try to show that we got this great offensive mind. Let's go put up all the points we can put up. And that's where to take care of the elephant in the room, okay? I totally side with Patrick Mahomes when you get to the end of the half and you decide you're not going to give him an opportunity to throw the ball. The man has an arm. I understand you may be thinking like, oh, let's not risk him getting hurt or something. Just let him run around and throw the ball up, okay? Like what in this? You're leading the game. The time was winding down. It's not like they were going to run it back for a pick six. So I just don't understand why we decided to just let the time run out. So I'm with him all day because I feel like a team that wants to put somebody away, a team that wants to go out there and put their foot on someone's neck and just shut the game down would have thrown the ball there. And instead, Eric Bieniemy seemed to be okay with like, oh, well, we got the lead. Let's just go to halftime. And that's where my critique for the Chiefs are. Right now, they don't have that mentality for me that says Super Bowl champion.
So I'll just piggyback off of that. Do you feel as though they're not as scary as they once were? And it has, to me, I don't think it has anything to do with Tyreek Hill. I think it has more to do with, like you're saying, that mentality of let's go out there, put up 40, 50 points, let these fools know who we are, and let everybody know that, yeah, y'all need to be scared when the Chiefs come into town. Do you feel as though that mindset is not there as it once was?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see that killer instinct right now. I don't see it from them. We could talk about 3 for 10 on third down conversions. I mean, that's not good. 1 for 2 on fourth down conversions. It's just all around. And I know that there are some injuries that have happened to the team, and they're suffering. And yeah, Lee brings up the kicker. I mean, not having a kicker has hurt in some ways. But at the end of the day, like he says, that should have been an easy win.
Let me get
if
to
you had the mentality, it should have been an easy win.
No, I got you. We're on the same page. Lee says, even without flipping the switch, that's an easy win. I hate the excuses, but our kicker being hurt is tough. Missed 2 chip shots and missed PAT, doing a fake field goal pass because the kicker sucks for what should have been a third chip shot, muff punt at the 4 that gave them really their only offense till that final drive. Special teams was saddening. Lee also says Andy Reid made that call. It wasn't the enemy. Reid stated it. Reid stated that it was his idea to go into half. Bieniemy was trying to relay that to Pat, and that's when they had their little disagreement. So when Andy came up, Pat was like, "Oh yeah, oh damn, okay," and then walked off the field.
Yeah, so I saw Andy say that. Can I just say I don't believe that? I don't believe it. I think it was Bieniemy that made the call. I think that Andy's trying to chill out this narrative that's been going on for a couple. I mean, it started back when Bieniemy wasn't getting the head coaching jobs, and people were saying, well, he's not actually doing anything to help the team win and stuff. Yeah, I don't believe that. I think Bieniemy the one that made that call, and Andy wants to, kind of cool it down, like how
as a head coach,
he's doing what he's supposed to do. But yeah, Bieniemy the one that made that call. I don't believe that nonsense, Andy. You can't fool me, okay? I know Eric over there making bad calls.
It's been watching football a little long than you think, so he know when he sees somebody BSing on him.
Yeah, Andy went over there like, Pat, don't do that out here, please.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this. Of course, one of our segments we do on Sunday. If I was a betting man, let's go ahead and recap what I talked about. And unfortunately, I went 1 for 2. But
same here.
But I went a nice little 1 for 2. Lions, I said, of course, Lions will cover the spread against the Vikings. Of course, Vikings was a 6-point favorite. Lions only lost by 4. So, of course, if you put some money on that, you won some money. Unfortunately, Carson Wentz does for me what he always does, and that's let me down. I said
I told you. I tried to tell you, but you weren't listening to me.
I know. Hey, I try to tell you about other teams you should have picked, but you ain't listen to me. It's all good. We two hard-headed people that ain't gonna listen to one another. That's what makes a marriage that great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over under 1.5 pass touchdown for Carson Wentz. He got close. He got 0. So of course, if you took the over, you lost some money. And as well, over under 42.5 points for the Falcons and Seahawks. I said take the under, and of course, they do what they do best, and that's what birds do when it comes to
you
shitting
0 for
on
2
me.
on these.
Well, because that's another reason why I went 0 for on this one, because birds just do not like me. For the people that don't know this story,
Oh my gosh.
When I was in middle school, waiting for a football game, in the stands with my pads on, everything like that, birds shitted on me. Don't believe me? You can go and ask. I'm dead ass. Oh, I'm dead ass.
What
serious.
does that have to do with anything, bro?
You want to know what it has to do? What it has to do is that birds are going to find a way to shit on me, ish. Physically or metaphorically, they're going to always find a way to shit on me. That's what it means.
You a fool for that one, bro.
I'm dead ass serious. Y'all think I'm playing? I'm so serious.
I didn't even know that happened to you.
Watkins Middle School. Watkins Middle School. Don't believe me? Go ask Andrew Brown. Man. Travis. You can go ask Travis Crow. Travis Crow was there. All right, and of course, our other segment, Don't Be Upset, of course, where we pick our upset picks of the week. And for me, I got this one right. I did say Jags over Chargers. So that one definitely worked out for me. And Ish, he went out on a limb with this one. I was scratching my head. And as you can see, he didn't listen to me the same way I didn't listen to him. And Jets over Bengals. I respect it. Hey, I respect putting your neck out there, but maybe next week.
Just man, Flacco. I got too high on Flacco, and then he just decided he came back down to earth real quick. Last week he relived his Super Bowl days, and then this past week he just decided,
went back to old school, new school Flacco, I should say, not old school. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up a couple of these games before we get up out of here for tonight. We'll talk about this very quickly. One of, if not the best team in the league, depending on who you ask, seems as though Dolphins and Eagles are 1-2. And right now, at the moment, after week 3, it's just Super Bowl pick is looking real good. The Philadelphia Eagles took care of the Commanders and won this game relatively pretty easily. It really is not too much to talk about this game other than, can the Eagles stay healthy? That's really the main question. If they can stay healthy, can
Jalen Hurts continue his progression?
To be honest with you, why not? When you have 2 raw receivers, the way that you have them, Mr. Smith and Mr. Brown,
and Miles
Sanders, I don't see why you cannot continue to be successful. The defense is doing what they need to do. Make Carson Wentz. Oh, here goes my favorite. Oh, here we go. Oh, I was hoping that she was still on. I was hoping because I remember just a couple of years ago, and I hope my good friend Napoleon Robichaux is tuning in as well, because I could have sworn when a guy named Carson Wentz was playing on this Philadelphia Eagles team that we had somebody named Christine Robichaux that swore up and down that Carson Wentz was the next great quarterback to play on this team and just play in the NFL.
That's old news, man.
I just remember. I just want to make sure everybody knows that Carson Wentz at one point in time was the greatest quarterback to ever put on a Philadelphia Eagles uniform.
That's old news.
And now the defense is putting him where he deserves to be, and that's on the field. So
this front seven, but I said that was the key to the game, that front seven, and whether or not he was going to get that time, and he sure did not.
He did not. So we'll see what happens with both of these teams. I expect the Eagles to continue to keep flying as the Eagles fly. I know you want to, of course, sing your song, and the Commanders to, of course, continue to keep commanding. Christine says he was still better than he is now. He still helped us get to a Super Bowl. He's not the same since the injury. Okay, we're still obviously in denial. We're gonna go ahead and move on from that. Okay.
Let's not start that.
Jesus. All right. Fracture Walnut also says, is it time to put some respect on the Jags name, Ish? Are they still the London Jags? And thank you for that, Mr. Fracture Walnut, because we are segueing right into that game. The Jaguars and, of course, the Chargers, my upset pick of the week. And the Jaguars did not win this game by 3 points. They took care of business on the road.
They put that beat down on them.
I'll throw it to you first before I say my spiel. After 3 weeks, are the Jags for real?
Is Doug Peterson doing it again? Is he gonna do it again?
That's another real question right there too.
I mean, they put the pieces in place. They went out. They were very active in the free agent market.
Yep.
They made a lot of moves. They've
Christian Kirk move. We talked about Christian Kirk over the offseason. We looked at that crazy, and right now we
laughed at him a little bit.
We the ones that's getting laughed at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty amazing how they're able to turn it around so quickly.
The mentality of this team just seems different. For me, it's still early in the season, so we need to wait a little bit. But I think Doug Peterson is the right guy for this job. I think he's helping Trevor Lawrence a lot. James Robinson, when are people going to put respect on his name? I know a lot of people thought Travis Etienne was going to come in and take that man's spot, and Robinson has just responded. He has been balling out with this team. Christian Kirk is balling out. This defense has just been flying around, just making noise. It is insane what they're doing down there. I still am going to continue to call them the London Jaguars for the time being, though. Like I said last week, the Queen, she did turn over the ownership to me. And part of my ownership of the London Jaguars, I've been talking to them, trying to get them in the right mind to accept that, you know, they're going to have to play some of their games here in America. And they can save the really great performances for London if they need to. But I think they're starting to take it to heart a little bit. You know, they're preparing for that move to officially be the London Jaguars, and they just showing America what they're gonna miss when they move over there.
Interesting. I will just say this: if the Jaguars continue to keep doing what they're doing, within 2 years they'll be in the AFC Championship game. I said what I said.
Yeah, let
me explain. The reason why I'm saying that is because let's not act like the Jags were not just in the AFC Championship game 5 years ago with a guy named Blake Bortles.
Well, that's true.
Now let me finish.
Different landscape.
Let me finish. You're correct on what you're saying when it comes to, well, you can look at this variable, you can look at that variable. I got you. But we just saw the Bengals go to the Super Bowl last year. I'm not saying that the Bengals are, after they went to Super Bowl last year, all of a sudden they're going to go to 4 or 5 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that as we have seen before, if you are able to have a quarterback, a coach that knows what he's doing,
top 10 defense,
a decent defense, and a little luck that goes your way from time to time, you'll be surprised at a run you can make in the playoffs, and all of a sudden you're in the conference championship game, and you won't get.
Well, it helps that they're in the AFC South,
yes, it does.
Especially because when you think about it, the Colts they're still an older team, even with some of the younger pieces they have. Overall, that team is still an older team, and they're still trying to figure out, like, how do we rebuild without actually rebuilding, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then in Tennessee, it's really close to a rebuild at this point.
No, I agree. Mean, we're in limbo. We're literally in, like, we're still trying to continue to rise, but in reality, it's like, bro, that's shit.
It's slowly kind of starting to come down to where it's like, it might be time to actually rebuild.
But that's what I'm saying when it comes to the Jags and the Texans. The Texans have an opportunity with the next draft coming up or whatnot to where maybe you could put in some pieces. Again, I'm not saying that you're going to go to the AFC Championship game or in the division, but I'm just saying you have an opportunity to sneak up in the AFC South to where you maybe could surpass the Titans in the Colts, and all of a sudden it's the Jags and the Texans over the next 2 or 3 years.
I just don't believe in this Houston organization to make the right kind of moves. I'm sorry. His history has shown that they just don't know what they're doing. I wouldn't be surprised if come the draft time, they're gonna pick a quarterback. They're gonna pick Sam Hartman out of Wake Forest as the number 1 pick.
There you go. They are not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
All right. You say that, but watch. Leading up to the draft, they're going to be like, man, this guy's arm strength. He's a hidden gem. He's got all the hidden. They might
draft all the intangibles, huh?
DJ Ulangalele is gonna be the number one. Like they gonna draft. They gonna find somebody.
There you go. That's how you say DJ.
They gonna find someone else to pick, or they won't even draft a quarterback. They gonna draft like
Will Anderson from Bama.
No, they're not even gonna draft Will Anderson.
What are they gonna draft?
They're gonna find. I don't know. They're gonna find some no-name left. No, not even left tackle, like a right tackle that they're gonna try to play at left tackle.
First runner says Titans making the same moves the Texans did, traded away your best offensive weapon with nothing in return.
But I did want to bring this up in relation to the Texans. So there is a guy that played for the Texans that I think if we're gonna set Lovie Smith up and we're gonna get rid of him, this guy should be the next head coach of the Texans.
Goddamn defense coordinator for the Niners, DeMeco Ryans.
DeMeco Ryans should be the head coach for the Houston Texans next year.
100,000,000% agree with you, but it ain't gonna happen.
He should be the head coach for the Texans next year.
And you want to know who's gonna miss the ball on that one? The Cal McNair. Because that's a great opportunity. You know what? I didn't even think about that. But you are a smart young man, sir. Because you can bring in a former Texan, somebody who's been a hell of a coordinator on defensive side of the ball for the last however many years now.
Man.
And it will also, I think, I could be wrong, but also help the Houston Texan alumni come back and actually show some support for the Texans, because let's be real, most of the Texan players don't even fuck with the Texans.
They don't even mess with the team like that
because of the owner. So if you bring a guy in like DeMeco Ryans, that changes everything. Man. Now, Fracture Wanda brings this up because this was the notion that was talked about in the offseason before Lovie Smith got hired.
Exactly what will happen.
That's Josh McCown, and I don't want that to ever happen. Like, y'all will go backwards if that happens. Don't do that. Fracture One also says Ryan's had beef with the Texans.
But this is a way to mend those.
Thank you.
Way to
mend
that's
exactly what I was going to say
right here.
The Texans need something, and that's to get better and to win. And DeMeco Ryans deserves an opportunity to become a head coach.
Yes.
Let's form a partnership and let's help each other out. And whatever happens, either you go down or you go up. Guess what? The Texans were always going to be trash anyway, so you might as well. And if it works out for everybody. We can all hug and embrace and forget about the past and be able to move forward.
Man,
look, it's
the perfect situation. Really.
Marketing will eat it up easily. I mean, I agree. It's too simple and too smart of an idea for the Texans not to do it. That's the only.
It's there for them. It's there for them to do it. But
Frank says, like Ish said, I don't trust them.
That's the problem. Don't trust them.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up with the last couple of games. A game that Ish didn't even watch. I'll just talk about it very briefly because apparently Ish is a hater when it comes to two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Packers and Buccaneers. As you can see, this score was one of them old school. Knock them out, drag them out type of games. 14-12.
Sounded like it was garbage. Like I predicted.
Wasn't garbage. More like Forky from Toy Story 4. More like trash.
Oh, yep.
It was trash.
yeah.
Garbage. It was just trash. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
For the hype coming into this game, I will agree with you. Yes, unfortunately, it probably didn't live up to the hype. But overall,
I tried to tell you before.
Overall, again, it's Sunday football. I'm gonna watch. I don't give a damn what you talking about. Is my point is overall though, the Packers got a much needed win. They needed to get this win. Shout out to them for coming down to the South and getting this win.
Romeo Dobbs. They've been talking about him. They've been hyping him up.
That's somebody that Aaron Rodgers might be able to turn into the next Devontae Adams.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. Romeo Dobbs,
the next Donald Driver, whatever it is. When it comes to the next wide receiver for the Green Bay to be that number one, it could be him. We, of course, have to see some more from him moving forward. But right now, Aaron Rodgers has a mini smile because somebody on his team was actually able to catch the damn.
Just a little bit, a little bitty one.
Just a little bit. All right, we'll wrap it up with this Sunday night football. We'll wrap it up for Sunday night football for week 3, and before we talk about the Thursday night football matchup real quick.
Oh my gosh!
This game had probably more combined punts than it did more combined points with 21. This was ugly. This was ugly. I don't even know how the Broncos even found a way to win this game. They probably should not have won this game. And the only question are the two questions I have. So unfortunately, Trent Williams got hurt with that in that game. He might be out for the next 6+ weeks. I don't know how the 49ers are able to continue on riding the ship with the way that left side is banged up at the moment. The question I have for you, though, is for the Broncos, is it already time to panic over there, especially on the offensive side of the ball, regarding Nathaniel Hackett and what they are doing? Because
Fracture Walnut, stop
in
with
a
the Jimmy
quarterback,
D slander
you
right
bring in
now.
a quarterback, you pay him $200+ million. I'm not saying go out there and let him throw the ball 60 times a game, but for right now, after 3 weeks, it just does not seem like Russ is comfortable in his offensive system.
No, it's not that Russ isn't comfortable. Russ is exactly who he's always been. I don't know why we thought Russ was going to go to Denver and make Denver like he was the second coming of Peyton Manning to Denver. Because he's not.
What you saw right now, you saw Richard Sherman. You signed Richard Sherman. A lot of people think Richard Sherman's a hater for talking about Russ, but in reality, it seems as though Richard Sherman might be correct on his critique of Russell Wilson. But I will say the same way Russell Wilson is, the same way with LeBron or certain other players that are polarized in the media when it comes to they can't do no wrong. Maybe Russ is one of those guys where he can go out there, go do a 30 for 30 like Jameis, and people will still find a way to say, well, he's still a Super Bowl still a Super Bowl type of quarterback. Do you think that type of media, he's a media darling for people to talk very highly about no matter what?
Okay. Let me say this. Yes, he won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? That's a long time ago. For the past couple of years, I have not believed that Russell Wilson was this guy that everybody believes him to be. Is he one of the top quarterbacks in the league? I think, yeah, he's up there in that conversation, but I don't think he is the kind of guy that transforms a team. I think he's a good, solid guy that can lead a team. I'm just looking at the stats from this game. 20 for 33, 184. Tell me how this is a vast improvement over Teddy Bridgewater from last year. How is this a vast improvement from Teddy Bridgewater from last year? Because it's not. Teddy Bridgewater was actually, I'm pretty sure, and I meant to pull up the numbers and compare them, because Teddy Bridgewater at this point, I remember last year we were talking about, wow, he's actually throwing the ball.
Somebody maybe should give him an opportunity to be a number one somewhere.
I mean, he looked better in this offense. He looked better with Denver than Russell Wilson does. So I'm confused at why we thought Russell Wilson was going to come and transform this team. I don't think that it's panic time, because I don't know if anybody really ever was, other than if you were a Denver fan, thought that they were going to do some amazing things. Now, the defense is the bright spot for them, because they have a defense that is able to fly around, cover people. PS2 is the truth. I'm just going to say that right now. But outside of,
you think so? Because I felt as though the first couple of weeks of the season he was getting his work cut out for him.
I mean, he's got, he's facing some tough guys. Okay, but in coverage, he's been doing decent. He's been doing a decent job. Also, if you think about it, let me look at their. Hold on, because I'm pretty sure I was looking at their sacks. It's not that hot at the moment. Yeah, I mean, this is a top 3 defense, man. This is a top 3 defense. They're third in passing yards. Like the PS2 in that secondary, they're doing a good job. Yeah, they've gotten burned here and there.
It's funny that you say that, because now I'm going to bring up Fracture Walnut's comment when he says Russ is only good when he has a top 10 defense. That defense put him in great spots to put points on the board. Now, like you said, he has a top 5 defense. The way numbers look.
3.
So if that's the case, and Russ, you're still not performing right now, again, I think it's a collective. It's not. I'm not going to put it just on Russ. And I might be blinded to what Russ did in Seattle. I have no problem saying that. But it's hard for me to put the blame on Russ when we've seen the way Nathaniel Hackett has been coaching so far. Granted, it's only 3 weeks.
Oh, he's garbage.
Let's see how this plays out. But overall, if this doesn't get fixed this season, Nathaniel Hackett is out. They're not going to move away from Russell Wilson. Nathaniel Hackett is out. They're getting another coach in there. And then we'll really see if Russ is the problem or somebody else. But right now, there are no excuses for Russ. When you have a top 10 defense, you need to go out there and go play and be the guy.
Russ is the problem.
Let's circle back on this in week 7. Let's give us another month.
Russ is the problem.
Let's give it another month. Fracture One also said Jimmy G is who the 49ers thought he was.
Yeah, stop with the Jimmy G slander. I hate that, man.
Y'all
really getting on my nerves with that.
I agree. Jimmy G, he'll be fine. Because when the 49ers are back in the NFC Championship game once again, we'll be like, what the hell? How did that happen? But Jimmy G left. Fracture One also says that game was 2 old people who should just hang him up. Max respect them, but like Bruce Buffer, it's time. If you know anything about UFC, but yes, of course, he was talking about the Packers and Bucks game on that one. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll just preview this Dolphins and Bengals game.
Can I say this real quick?
Of course.
Just to bring the point home about Russ and his situation in Denver.
Sure, let's wrap it up.
After 3 games this season, Russell Wilson only has 743 yards and 2 touchdowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
After 3 games last season, Teddy Bridgewater had 780 yards. Okay? I'm just trying to say this, and I'm trying to paint this picture so everybody understands. There has been no upgrade at the quarterback position for the Denver Broncos. And not to mention, not only has there been no upgrade, but it's the same exact people on that offense. It's not like they lost people in free agency or they had a problem. The weapons that were there last year are the exact same weapons that are there this year. So you got less yards than Teddy Bridgewater. And not to mention, you got less touchdowns because Teddy Bridgewater threw 3 games last year. Not only had 780 yards, that man also had 4 touchdowns. I don't care who the Broncos have played for the 3. I don't care.
The 3 teams will be the Seahawks, the Texans, and the 49ers.
The Texans aren't a top 10 defense.
No, he said he's asked who the Broncos have played for their defense to be top 10.
But that's the same argument we had about the Panthers last year when they started.
I remember. Yeah, no, I definitely remember that. But again, that's why we have to, of course, wait and see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up tonight. I know everybody's trying to go ahead and get the little ones in the bed, so let's go ahead and wrap this up with a preview of the Thursday night football game, Dolphins and Bengals. For me, at the moment, I'll be completely honest. I don't have a pick right now. I don't know who's going to win this game, but I do know the Bengals will be coming out in them icy all white uniforms with the white helmet as well. So I can't wait to see that. I'm pretty sure Dolphins will probably be
Apple. I owe you.
That's the matchup to look out for too. And also I think this is another measuring stick game as well for the Dolphins once again. You're going on the road to play against the AFC Conference Championship team that, of course, won the AFC went to the Super Bowl.
I might pick the Bengals.
Again, we'll see what happens. We'll have our picks on Thursday, but for this game is this a must win for the Bengals?
I don't necessarily think it's a must win. Let me look at the North right now. Yeah, I don't think it's a must win at this point.
Still too early in the season.
It's still early in the season. I mean, they're like a game behind Baltimore and Cleveland. And with Cleveland, you just don't know with that whole situation going on. what they're going to look like in a couple of weeks. With Baltimore, we know their record with health and everything that's going on there. So I'm happy with Baltimore leading the division right now, and I think they can keep doing it. And I don't think Pittsburgh is that strong. So I think if Cincy can kind of hang around there, they'll be okay. And I think they can find a way to make it into the playoffs with a wild card position. So I don't think it's a must win, but I definitely want to see a performance. I think it's important to see a performance from them. I think the way they play this game is going to say a lot about what to expect from them moving forward.
Not mad at that take at all. Of course, we'll have our picks on our social media pages for Thursday Night Football. This is going to be a good one-ish.
I'm excited about watching this one.
This one's going to be a good one.
The NFL has gotten a primetime game right again. I mean, it's rare that they get it right, but they got it right this time, hopefully.
Yeah, line on that one when it comes to getting it right. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. And I'm not even talking about Tyreek Hill and Eli Apple matchup. I'm just talking about matchups across the board. Young coach versus another young coach. Two AFC teams trying to, take ownership of this conference when it comes to changing of the guard. It's no more of this Patriot or Steeler of a conference. So it's going to be very interesting. We'll see what happens. And as always, we will see y'all on Sunday, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern time, of course, for week 4 previews of the matchups that we have for week 4. And as always, we will see y'all on Tuesday for week 4 recap as well here on Next Talking Ish. We will see y'all, of course, next time.
Peace.
Yes, sir.